The first time I brought my husband, Adrian, to meet my family, I thought they'd welcome him with open arms. Instead, the moment he introduced himself as a chef, the air shifted. My cousin smirked. My father leaned back in his chair, unimpressed. And my mother, she smiled politely, but later whispered to me, "A chef. That's not exactly a career with a future, sweetheart." Their words stung deeper than they realized. Before I take you deeper into this story, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Your support keeps this channel alive and ensures you never miss stories that will leave you speechless. Back to our story. Adrian didn't react to the judgment. He sat at that dinner table with the calm dignity I'd fallen in love with. He listened intently, asked about their lives, and never once defended his own. But every time he excused himself to refill a drink or check on the food, I caught my father's smirk. "A cook," he muttered once, shaking his head. "She married a cook." I clenched my fists under the table, my heart burning with shame, not because of Adrian, but because of them. Over the next few months, the comments only worsened. At family gatherings, they mocked his long hours. "Bet he smells like grease every night," my aunt chuckled. When Adrian offered to help in the kitchen, my mother waved him off as if his skills were unworthy. To them, he was nothing more than a man flipping burgers in the back of some greasy diner. But I knew the truth was more complicated. I knew Adrian was holding back, though he never said why. One night, after another exhausting family dinner, I confronted him. "Why don't you tell them?" I asked, frustration boiling over. "Why let them treat you like this?" Adrian smiled softly and kissed my forehead. "Because people like that need to learn on their own. One day, they'll see. And when they do, it'll be louder than anything I could ever say." That day came sooner than I expected. Months later, my parents hosted a big anniversary party. Dozens of relatives, family, friends, and even community leaders invited. I dreaded the night, already bracing for more ridicule. But Adrian surprised me. "Don't worry," he whispered as we got ready. "Tonight, things will change." His eyes sparkled with a confidence I couldn't quite understand. The ballroom buzzed with music and chatter, waiters weaving through the crowd with trays of wine. I introduced Adrian again, and once again the whispers began. "Still cooking?" One cousin laughed. "Doesn't seem like a real career." I tried to hold my composure, but before I could reply, the lights dimmed. The host announced, "Tonight's event has been catered by one of the most exclusive chefs in the country. Please welcome." The room froze. Every head turned. And then, from the kitchen, Adrian emerged, not in the plain shirt he had worn earlier, but in a crisp white chef's coat embroidered with his name in gold. The staff followed him in perfect formation, carrying trays of dishes that looked like art sculptures more than food. Gasps rippled through the crowd as plates landed on tables, elegant towers of cuisine, so beautiful they belonged in magazines. My family sat in stunned silence. My mother blinked rapidly, as if trying to process what she was seeing. My father's smug grin evaporated. "Wait," my cousin whispered. "He's the chef, Adrian." Yes, the same chef Adrian who was featured in food documentaries. The same chef Adrian who cooked for celebrities, royalty, and even political leaders. The man they thought was just a cook was one of the most in-demand private chefs in the country, known for hosting exclusive dining events that cost more per plate than my father's monthly salary. The host continued, "Chef Adrian has prepared tonight's menu, personally a celebration of love and legacy." Applause erupted and I glanced at my family. Their mouths were open, their faces pale. Suddenly, the man they mocked looked larger than life. Adrian moved gracefully from table to table, explaining each dish with passion and confidence. Guests hung on his every word, taking photos, nodding in admiration. My father, who once dismissed him as a kitchen worker, now stared at his plate in disbelief. My mother, usually so composed, fumbled with her fork, unable to hide the awe in her eyes. And Adrian, He never once looked smug. He didn't rub it in. He simply let the food, the reputation, and the respect he commanded speak for themselves. That was who he was: quiet, power wrapped in humility. When dessert was served in intricate chocolate creation that seemed impossible to eat without destroying its beauty, my aunt finally broke the silence. "Why didn't you ever say anything?" she stammered. Adrian smiled kindly. "Because my worth isn't in their approval, it's in my work. And my work speaks louder than words." The message landed harder than any insult they had thrown. My father coughed awkwardly, trying to recover some pride. "Well, we didn't realize you were successful." Adrian chuckled. "Success isn't about titles or money. It's about doing what you love and doing it well." That's something I'll always stand by. The rest of the evening passed with my relatives showering him with questions they once sneered at. "Who's the most famous person you've cooked for? What's your secret ingredient?" Their sudden fascination was almost pathetic, but I didn't care. For once, later that night, when the party ended and the guests left, my family approached me quietly. My mother touched my arm. "We may have judged too quickly. He's extraordinary." I smiled, but the bitterness lingered. It shouldn't have taken Michelin-starred meals and celebrity clients for them to respect him. They should have seen his worth from the start. As we drove home, Adrian reached for my hand. "I told you," he said softly, "they'd learn on their own." I squeezed his hand, pride swelling inside me. My family had spent months mocking him for being just a chef. Tonight, they discovered the truth. He was a master, an artist, a man whose talent and dedication placed him among the best in the world. And I couldn't help but think maybe next time, they'd remember that real greatness often hides in places they're too arrogant to look.